The Delhi Dangal date has been decided. The Election Commission a short while ago came out and gave out those dates. The triangular contest between the BJP, the Congress and the incumbent Aadmi party here in the national capital. All of the 70 seats in Delhi will be voting in a single phase on the 5th of February and the results would be out on the 8th. Now, the Election Commission also came out and addressed concerns that were raised by many political parties over voter data manipulation, over EVM manipulation. Not only did he silence doubters, but the Chief Election Commissioner also went on to cite court orders of this country, both from the Supreme Court and the High Court, to talk about how EVMs are tamper-proof and they should not be doubted. He also went on to allay fears about manipulation of voter data, going on to say that it is their responsibility to ensure that a robust mechanism is in place and they will ensure that free and fair elections take place here in Delhi and the rest of the country as well, and politicians must not spread misinformation about it.
जो भी क्लेम्स एंड ऑब्जेक्शंस आते हैं वो हाथ की हाथ हर पॉलिटिकल पार्टी के साथ में शेयर किए जाते हैं। कोई डिलीशन हो ही नहीं सकता जब तक उसके पीछे फॉर्म 7 ना हो। यहां तक कि अगर किसी की डेथ हो गई है उसका भी डेथ सर्टिफिकेट हम अपने रिकॉर्ड में लगा के बीएलओ के माध्यम से रखते हैं। अगर किसी का डिलीशन इसके अतिरिक्त होना है शिफ्टिंग में, उसको नोटिस देते हैं, वेबसाइट पे डालते हैं, क्लेम्स एंड ऑब्जेक्शंस का टाइम देते हैं। हमने मेहनत करके इस पूरी प्रक्रिया का एक चार्ट बनाया। There is no evidence of unreliability or any drawback in the EVM. I am circulating it. Please see the details. Details are there in the court orders. Court orders are here compiled. They are on our website. There is no question of introducing virus or bug in the EVM. There is no question of invalid votes in the EVM. No rigging is possible. High Court and Supreme Court is saying continuously in different judgments which are here. No alteration in results is possible by activating a Trojan horse or a virus. Evidence inspires confidence of the court that they are tamper-proof. What else can be said? EVMs are foolproof devices for counting.
तारीखों का ऐलान हो चुका है, पहला रिएक्शन?
नहीं, सबसे पहले तो मैंने दिल्ली की जनता को ही बधाई दी है कि ये लोकतंत्र का महोत्सव है और दिल्ली की जनता के अधिकारों का सबसे बड़ा दिन है। इस दिन दिल्ली के लोग 5 फरवरी को दिल्ली के लोग चुनेंगे कि दिल्ली के बच्चों के लिए अच्छी शिक्षा कैसे बने, अच्छे स्कूल कैसे बने, अच्छी यूनिवर्सिटीज़ कैसे बने, दिल्ली के लोगों के लिए अच्छे स्वास्थ्य की सुविधाएं कैसे बने। ये सारी चीज़ें उस दिन लोग तय करेंगे। बिजली 24 घंटे कैसे आती रहे, और इसलिए लोग केजरीवाल जी को चुनेंगे। केजरीवाल जी के नेतृत्व में पूरी टीम तैयार है।
सर, चुनाव आयोग ने कई चीज़ों पर क्लैरिफिकेशन भी दिया, वोट डिलीशन पर खास तौर से उन्होंने कहा कि पूरी जो प्रक्रिया थी वो पारदर्शी थी।
नहीं, प्रक्रिया पारदर्शी केवल प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में कहने से नहीं हो जाती है ना। पारदर्शिता अपना भी लें। उसी प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में अच्छा होता कि चुनाव आयोग बता देते, चुनाव आयुक्त महोदय, कि हमारे चुनाव कार्यालयों में इन लोगों ने गलत और मिसलीडिंग तरीके से चुनाव आयोग को मिसलीड करते हुए वोट कटवाने के लिए एप्लीकेशन डाले थे और हमने इनके खिलाफ ये एक्शन लिया है।
सर, नई दिल्ली
में तो नाम छुपा रहे हैं, वो तो कह रहे हैं हम तो नहीं बताएंगे आपको कि किसने डाला है। क्यों भाई?
नई दिल्ली में दबाव डालने का आरोप भी संजय सिंह और राघव चड्ढा पर लगा, अधिकारियों पर, इस पर भी बात हुई।
भाई देखिए, अगर चुनाव आयोग कुछ गलत करता हुआ दिखेगा तो डेमोक्रेसी की मांग है कि दबाव डाला जाएगा, सही करने का दबाव डालेंगे।
My colleagues Akash, Arunima and Sharon joining us, getting us more perspective on this. Arunima, you were there when the Election Commission's press conference took place just a short while ago, and in no uncertain terms, the Chief Election Commissioner went on to say that there can be no voter data manipulation or rigging of the EVMs. The courts have also gone on record to confirm exactly that, and politicians must not indulge in any sort of misinformation.
Yes, and you know, the last line when CEC was criticizing the opposition for what he said, rumour mongering, the last line was quite worrying. He said the result of all these rumour mongering is that the young voter who's a first time voter or who's still trying to make up his or her mind, they are losing their confidence in the democratic process. Don't do that, because it doesn't augur well for democracy, and ultimately we are all stakeholders to the democratic process. So he kind of requested, at the same time it was a warning to the political parties on the opposition side, that this is the end result of what you're doing. He totally rejected the charges, 4-point rebuttal. First was the electoral rolls on which Aam Aadmi Party has gone to town over the last 48 hours. They said electoral roll updation has a proper procedure. If you have to delete someone's name, documents must be available, including a death certificate if somebody has died. Similarly, for addition of names also, there are documents that are required. He rejected the EVM manipulation charge. He clarified as to why CCTV footage cannot be shared, giving the grounds of voter privacy. And then the final point that he made was that when you are alleging that voter turnout figures are going up after 6 o'clock, please consider that this has always been the norm. There is a procedural gap in the way the system is built. So on every charge that the opposition has made, CEC, even before questions were asked to him, was clarifying suo moto. To use a cricket analogy, he was playing on the front foot, even though bouncer after bouncer was getting bowled by the opposition.
Absolutely, but that chorus hasn't ended, unfortunately. Even after that, we still have some within the opposition ranks here questioning whether there is some sort of voter data manipulation, whether the additions and deletions in the electoral roll, is there something that is of concern there? All of that will be addressed. The Chief Election Commissioner also coming out and saying that we will be taking and we have been taking on board all stakeholders, all political parties. Meetings have been held with all of them periodically. My other colleagues also joining us on this broadcast. As far as the Aam Aadmi Party is concerned, Akash, they are very confident that this is their election to win, but they were the ones who've been talking about this voter data manipulation as far as the electoral roll is concerned. They also were accused by the Election Commission of pressurizing the body. That's something that the CEC also addressed today.
In fact, they have been alleging that in many constituencies, Bharatiya Janata Party and Aam Aadmi Party, because initially it was started by Bharatiya Janata Party when they gave applications to the Election Commission saying that illegal immigrants, are getting their, in fact, are getting registered for the voting process. But this time around, it has been made very clear by the CEC that there is a process that is generally followed as far as addition and deletion of voters is concerned. And also, it has been made very clear that deletion is not an ordinary process that one person is claiming that someone is not living at a particular address and the vote will be deleted. No. Verification would happen, notice will be sent to the particular person, and even after, that person is shifted to ASD list. Because last week only I had a word with several individuals from the Election Commission office here in Delhi, and they told me that there is a process when, a voter is shifted to an ASD list, even then he can come and, follow the tender process, tender vote process and all other things. So it has been made very clear by the Election Commission that your attack or counter attack can go on one side, but on the other side, the factual part is that it is a transparent process and one cannot temper the particular process just for the sake of the political gains. Also, at this point in time, you see, Poonam, Sheesh Mahal is something that has been a matter of discussion. In fact, I am showing you these visuals. This is one model that has been placed here at Delhi BJP office, and they have been, taking vehicles carrying these models to all the constituencies here. They are saying that this is one prime example of the kind of corruption that Aam Aadmi Party government was involved in. You can see the swimming pool, in fact the whole model of the 6 Flagstaff Road, which they are calling Sheesh Mahal. At this point in time, Atishi has been claiming that she has been denied her residence once again. We have counter-attack coming from the Bharatiya Janata Party where they are saying that if you will not follow the process, this will happen to you. The factual part is that we have a letter from PWD saying that there were technical reasons because of which this allotment got cancelled, and now the Chief Minister has given an alternate choice. So ahead of the elections, we know that on 5th of February we are going to have elections here in the national capital. Ahead of it, we are having these political war of words between the parties, and also these official letters are playing an important role in it.
Absolutely, and we'll talk about that Sheesh Mahal controversy that is flaring up between the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP specifically in just a bit. But I want to get in Sharon and Anshul as well. Sharon, as far as the Congress Party is concerned, they could perhaps be the biggest losers or the biggest winners in this. At zero from the last election, any win this time would be a morale booster, so to say. It also comes at a time when questions are being raised about the Congress's leadership within the India bloc.
Absolutely, Poonam. And though there are, of course, buzz about how this is a fight between the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party, the Congress, what the message that they want to send is that don't undermine us. We are the grand old party and we can give a tough fight to both the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party. And that is why we are seeing a shift in their strategy. We are seeing that this time they have fielded some of the senior leaders of the Congress Party, starting with Sandeep Dixit, who will be contesting against Arvind Kejriwal, Alka Lamba contesting against Atishi. Apart from that, there is Ragini Nayak, who will be contesting from Wazirpur, and also Farhad Suri, who is in fact one of the loyalists of the Congress Party. So all these are, of course, senior faces who will be contesting in the Delhi elections this time. And apart from that, there are also, of course, strategies like putting across the guarantees like the 2,500 rupees for women in the national capital, a similar kind of scheme that was announced in Karnataka, Graha Lakshmi Yojana, and they have announced Pyari Didi Yojana in the national capital, believing that this time they will be able to open their account in the national capital. And a very interesting point was made by the Congress leader Sandeep Dixit, where he said that when we talk about the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party, they have a separate vote bank. But Congress has vote bank in both these parties and they have a common voters, and BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party know that if Congress does well this time, it is going to be a very difficult situation for both the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party. So Congress here is trying to get back their vote bank, which was with them before the Aam Aadmi Party entered into the picture. Now the vote bank is completely shifted to the Aam Aadmi Party. So the goal of the Congress Party is to get that vote bank, increase their vote share, and to win some good seats in the national capital.
Right, and the dates are out as far as Delhi elections go. Anshul, it looks like, on the face of it at least, the Aam Aadmi Party does have the first mover advantage. They've come out with all sorts of freebies and sops that they've promised to the voters of Delhi. Most of their candidates have also been announced, unlike the BJP or the Congress. In fact, the BJP has only announced about 29 out of the 70 seats.
Well, definitely, if you look at how the Aam Aadmi Party has been responding to these elections, since the day Arvind Kejriwal got out of Tihar jail, he has been on the roads, he has been trying to meet with his workers, he has been trying to meet with the people of the national capital, trying to propagate this message across that something wrong has happened with him, and this is because of the Bharatiya Janata Party that he was not able to work for them. So this is one message that the Aam Aadmi Party wants to propagate across very, very clearly, that it is the Bharatiya Janata Party who is stopping the Aam Aadmi Party from for working for the people out here in the national capital. Now we have seen Aam Aadmi Party being extra aggressive this time around, because they also know that over the last 1 decade, this is an election that is going to be the most closest. This is going to be an election that is going to be neck in neck, and parties like Congress could actually very much play a spoil sport in this entire election, where the Aam Aadmi Party is trying to repeat its government in the national capital for the fourth time. So definitely somewhere or the other, the Aam Aadmi Party knows this very, very clearly, that the manner in which they have been targeted from the side of the Bharatiya Janata Party, be it regarding the corruption, be it the issue of Sheesh Mahal, or other issues of how the infrastructure of Delhi is crumbling, how there are no new roads, no new flyovers that has been built by the Aam Aadmi Party. All these issues that might stick with the people, somewhere or the other, the Aam Aadmi Party is going that extra mile, trying to get the situation under control. Remember, another issue that was facing the Aam Aadmi Party is about women, how women are treated in the party, and especially after the entire incident that happened with Swati Maliwal, definitely the Aam Aadmi Party was on the back foot. So somewhere or the other, over the last 4 months, there has been this continuous try by the Aam Aadmi Party to actually make sure that all these issues are kept aside, and the future as to what the Aam Aadmi Party can do for the people of Delhi, that is propagated in some way or the other. And that is why we saw that the entire list of 70 candidates was announced at least 15 to 20 days before the elections were announced out here in the national capital. Apart from that, the schemes that the Aam Aadmi Party wanted to give out. These schemes were also announced in a very, very hurried manner, be it giving 2,100 rupees to the women, or free health checkup or treatment for
elderly. Now been announced by the Congress party as well. In fact, going one step further, 2,100 is what the Aam Aadmi party promised. The Congress wanting to promise 2,500 to women. The BJP is yet to come out and list any of its Sops or welfare schemes, as they call it. I request my colleagues to stay on with us because the dates are out now for the Delhi elections and there's a less than a month to go before Delhi votes. All 70 seats will be voting in a single phase on the 5th of February. The verdict will be out on the 8th of February. Listen in to some of those reactions.
5th is the voting, February 5th is the voting day, and counting is on 8th. How well is the Congress party prepared? Because what the experts have been saying is that the Aam Aadmi party has taken a lead by announcing their candidates in December itself.
I don't think announcing candidates earlier or later makes that much of a difference. There are certain parties, Aam Aadmi party has been doing that, announcing their candidates in places like Goa and Haryana much in advance, and it means nothing. Thing is, do you have your voters ready? Do you have your campaign ready? Do you have an ethos that attracts voters to you? Are voters looking at replacing you or electing you? I think that is what is important. And that is where Aam Aadmi party is having its biggest defeat. It's not understanding that people are fairly fed up with their lack of governance and the kind of lies that they've constantly been speaking. And of course, to add on to that, all the allegations of corruption.
Do you think there is a confusion between the voters because the Congress and Aam Aadmi party comes in alliance during the Lok Sabha election, in assembly election, they are targeting each other, standing against each other. Do you think there is a confusion in the voters' mind?
No. I think confusers know. Voters also know the difference between state and national elections. I've always quoted, long time back, there was a case in which there was simultaneous elections in a state for Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabha, and people voted separately for different governments in either way. So people are pretty aware of what they vote for. They also understand why parties come together to form certain formations or alliances at a particular level and don't do that at another. I don't think there is that confusion amongst Delhi voters.
दिल्ली के अधिक से अधिक लोग इस मतदान में भाग लेंगे, उसकी एक ही वजह है कि इस बार चुनाव 5 फरवरी बुधवार को हो रहा है और इस कारण से जो एक धारणा बनती है कि दिल्ली के लोग वीकेंड पर बाहर चले जाते हैं, इस बार दिल्ली में सबसे अधिक मतदान होगा, ऐसा मेरा विश्वास है। दिल्ली के व्यापारी, दिल्ली के लोग, दिल्ली के कामगार, दिल्ली के कारोबारी पूर्ण वेग से दिल्ली चुनाव में जुटेंगे और अपना समर्थन देंगे और प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी के नेतृत्व में दिल्ली में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की डबल इंजन की सरकार प्रचंड बहुमत से बनेगी।
सर, तारीखों का ऐलान हो चुका है, क्या जोश, क्या तैयारी?
बहुत अच्छी तैयारी है। कार्यकर्ताओं ने बूथ स्तर की तैयारी कर रखी है। एक एक पेज हमने वोटर लिस्ट का उसका इंचार्ज बनाया है। घर घर जा रहे हैं। इलेक्शन से पहले 3 बार तक हम एक एक के घर में पहुंच जाए, एक एक मतदाताओं से अपनी अपील करें, हमारा मैनिफेस्टो के बारे में बताएं, हमारे एजेंडा के बारे में बताएं, उनके इश्यूज़ को सुनें। तो यहाँ तक हमारी तैयारी है, बहुत अच्छी तैयारी है और इस बार भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बनने जा रही है।
सर, प्रवेश वर्मा के सामने अरविंद केजरीवाल हैं, संदीप दीक्षित हैं, तो कितना बड़ा चैलेंज देख रहे हैं इसे?
मुझे तो मेरे सामने केवल यहाँ की समस्याएं दिखाई दे रही हैं, जो कि 11 साल में एक भी ख़त्म नहीं हुई। तो मेरा लक्ष्य यही रहेगा, एक एक हमारे मतदाताओं से मिलना, उनके सामने उनकी बात को सुनना, और मैं सबको लिखते जा रहा हूँ। और 5 साल में सारी यहाँ पे बुनियादी सुविधाओं को, जितने भी काम हैं एनडीएमसी कर्मचारियों के, जो उनकी मांगे हैं उनको पूरा करवाना। यहाँ के जो हमारे झुग्गीवासी हैं, जितने भी कैंप हैं, जितने भी धोबी घाट हैं, उन सबको मालिकाना हक दिलाना, उनके लिए सुविधाएं वहाँ पर लेकर आना। हमारे जितने भी बेरोजगार हैं उनके लिए सरकारी नौकरी की व्यवस्था करना, ये सारी मेरे सामने चुनौतियां हैं।
बस एक आखिरी सवाल है कि मनीष सिसोदिया कह रहे हैं कि 8 फरवरी को हम फिर से सरकार बनाने जा रहे हैं, और आपने कहा था कि शीश महल के दर्शन दिल्ली के लोगों को कराएंगे, तो क्या तैयारी कर लें दिल्ली के लोग दर्शन के लिए?
मैंने तो समय मांगा है, मैंने परमिशन मांगी है। जैसी परमिशन मिलेगी आपको भी लेके जाऊँगा, मेरे क्षेत्र के लोगों को लेके जाऊँगा जिन्होंने 3 बार अरविंद केजरीवाल को जिताया है, और उनका राइट बनता है कि वो कैसा उन्होंने महल बनाया उनके टैक्स के पैसे से, उनको देखने का तो उनका, हमारे दिल्ली वासियों को राइट बनता है।
दिल्ली चुनाव का शंखनाद हो गया है, तारीखों का ऐलान हो गया। हमारे साथ पौनखेड़ा है। पौनखेड़ा जी, अब तो दुंदुभी बज गई, कितने तैयार कांग्रेस? और कितने
दुंदुभी की इंतजार नहीं कर रहे थे, हम पूरी तरह से तैयार हैं। और घबराहट आपको आम आदमी वालों में और भारतीय जनता पार्टी दोनों में दिख रही है। इनकी नूरा कुश्ती अब लोगों के सामने है। असली लड़ाई हमारी आम आदमी पार्टी से है, इस लड़ाई में हम जीतने जा रहे हैं।
लेकिन सवाल तो आपके सामने चुनौती है कि 2 बार से 0 है, 4.26% आपका वोट बैंक है। पवन जी, आप तो शीला दीक्षित जी के इतने सलाहकार रहे, कैसे आप अपनी मजबूती बढ़ाएं, कैसे आप रिजल्ट लाएंगे?
क्योंकि दिल्ली की नब्ज हम जानते हैं। दिल्ली में अब दिल्ली वाले भी त्रस्त हैं कि इस तरह के नेतृत्व नहीं चाहिए, इस तरह की सरकार नहीं चाहिए जो पिछले 10 साल से सिर्फ और सिर्फ ब्लेम गेम करती रही। ऊपर वाले आम आदमी को बदनाम करते रहे और आम आदमी वाले केंद्र सरकार को उससे दिल्ली वालों को बड़ा नुकसान हुआ है। वो चाहते हैं एक ऐसी जिम्मेदार पार्टी की सरकार बने जिसने 15 साल काम करके दिखाया है।
अपने आप ही सरकार आपकी बने, किसी का समर्थन लेना पड़ेगा कि पूर्ण बहुमत की सरकार बना रहे हैं?
नहीं, बिना वोटर के समर्थन के थोड़ी बनती है। वोटर का समर्थन मिलेगा और सरकार हमारी बनेगी।
लेकिन प्रधानमंत्री ने देखिए रैलियां शुरू कर दी, प्रचार शुरू हो गया, आपकी इतने बड़े पैमाने पर आपका प्रचार वगैरह अभी शुरू नहीं हुआ?
नहीं, करें, उनको जितनी बार हो सके प्रचार करें। उनकी तो आदत रिबन काटने की है, करते रहें वो, उससे क्या फर्क पड़ता है। लेकिन लोग हमें वोट देने जा रहे हैं।
किसके नाम पे वोट मांग रहे हैं? शीला दीक्षित के नाम पे वोट मांग रहे हैं, अपने काम पे, या केंद्रीय नेतृत्व पे, किसके नाम?
कांग्रेस पार्टी की परफॉर्मेंस जो 15 साल की यहाँ रही है, उस वक्त मुख्यमंत्री शीला दीक्षित जी थी और यूपीए की ऊपर सरकार 10 साल थी, उसमें सोनिया जी थी, मनमोहन सिंह जी थे। पूरा कांग्रेस पार्टी अपने नाम पे चुनाव मांगती।
Corruption is one of the key issues in this election in the national capital. The Aam Aadmi Party, the incumbent party here in Delhi, faces allegations of corruption both in the liquor gate and now the Sheesh Mahal scandal. Now, this is a party that came to power on the plank of fighting corruption. But Arvind Kejriwal, the one who calls himself Kattar Imandar, today faces allegations of indulging in corruption himself. The BJP, of course, upping the ante against Arvind Kejriwal and the Chief Minister of Delhi, Atashi, over Sheesh Mahal, over the luxurious splurge that the Aam Aadmi Party and the Delhi government has made on the former Chief Minister's residence. In fact, they've decided to take 3D models of this alleged Sheesh Mahal to all constituencies to show the people of Delhi what exactly their taxpayers' money went in for. Take a look.
Sheesh Mahal is one thing that is a matter of discussion here in the national capital ahead of assembly elections, and I'm showing you the visuals where Bharatiya Janata Party has created these models, and in fact they have prepared a number of vehicles. These vehicles will be going to constituencies here in the national capital, and these models will be shown to people here in the capital city. Bharatiya Janata Party's argument is that Aam Aadmi Party was involved in a sort of corruption where in fact former CM of Delhi Arvind Kejriwal had created this Sheesh Mahal for himself. It has been alleged that the kind of things, in fact there you can see commode 4 lakh, TV 10 lakh, दीवार 4 करोड़, मार्बल 8 करोड़, इंटीरियर 11.3 करोड़, पर्दे 1 करोड़. So these are the arguments where they are saying that Aam Aadmi Party Supremo Arvind Kejriwal says that he is an Aam Aadmi, and on the other hand he was using all these things. In fact he was living a lavish life in this Sheesh Mahal that was his former residence. In fact, at the time when he was the Chief Minister of Delhi, he used to live at 6 Flagstaff Road, and Bharatiya Janata Party is saying that it is a Sheesh Mahal that he was living in there. I'm showing you the visuals of these models where in fact these models will be sent to different constituencies here in the capital city, and ahead of elections we are seeing that Sheesh Mahal is a very part of discussion here among the political parties. In fact, Bharatiya Janata Party is saying that they are going to take this issue to the ground level and want to talk to people about this sort of alleged scam that Aam Aadmi Party and Arvind Kejriwal was involved in.
Now, the controversy over this alleged Sheesh Mahal or the Chief Minister's residence in the national capital continues. Sources within the Lieutenant Governor's office has now told CNN News 18 that they have decided to withdraw the allotment of this particular residence to the new Chief Minister, which is Atashi. This is the residence of Bungalow number 6 at Flagstaff Road that has been withdrawn because she did not take possession of the residence. Akash and Anshul continue to be with us, getting us more perspective. But before I get my colleagues in, let's listen into the allegation that the Chief Minister of Delhi had made about this.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी को लगता है कि वो घर छीनने से, हमारे साथ गाली गलौज करने से, मेरे परिवार के बारे में निचले स्तर की बातें करने से, मेरे परिवार के बारे में निचले स्तर की बातें करने से, मेरे परिवार के बारे में निचले स्तर की बातें करने से, मेरे परिवार के बारे में निचले स्तर की बातें करने से, मेरे परिवार के बारे में निचले स्तर की बातें करने से, मेरे परिवार के बारे में निचले स्तर की बातें करने से, मेरे परिवार के बारे में निचले स्तर की बातें करने से, मेरे परिवार के बारे में निचले स्तर की बातें करने से, मेरे परिवार के बारे में निचले स्तर की बातें करने से, मेरे परिवार के बारे में निचले स्तर की बातें करने से, मेरे परिवार के बारे में निचले स्तर की बातें करने से, मेरे परिवार के बारे में निचले स्तर की बातें करने से, मेरे परिवार के बारे में निचले स्तर की बातें करने से, मेरे परिवार के बारे में निचले स्तर की बातें करने से, मेरे परिवार के बारे में निचले स्तर की बातें करने से, मेरे परिवार के बारे में निचले स्तर की बातें करने से, मेरे परिवार के बारे में निचले स्तर की बातें करने से, मेरे परिवार के बारे में निचले इनको लगता है कि ये हमारे काम रोक देंगे, जो हम दिल्ली वालों के लिए काम कर रहे हैं उस काम को रोक देंगे। लेकिन मैं दिल्ली वालों को ये बताना चाहती हूं कि घर छीनने से काम रुकेगा नहीं। ये हमारे घर छीन सकते हैं, ये हमें गालियां दे सकते हैं, लेकिन जो दिल्ली वालों के लिए काम करने का जज्बा हमारे दिल में है, उस जज्बे को नहीं छीन सकते हैं।
The Aam Aadmi Party and the Chief Minister there alleging that the house was actually snatched away from her and she was evicted from the Chief Minister's official residence. That's an allegation that was first rebutted by the BJP, and now sources within the LG's office also coming out and clarifying that in fact the allotment to that house was withdrawn because she did not take possession of this, Akash.
Exactly, and in fact we have the official letter of the PWD that is further clarifying on this aspect, because in that letter, it's an official letter, it has been clarified on what grounds this allotment was withdrawn or cancelled, and it has been categorically mentioned, Poonam, that she did not take physical possession. While she sent her representative to take the keys of that particular bungalow, she never went there to live, and this is the reason why allotment got cancelled. Also, it has been categorically mentioned that there are several reasons to which an allotment can be cancelled. And second reason in this particular case is an ongoing investigation, because we know the kind of allegations that have come from not just Bharatiya Janata Party, but in fact has been categorically mentioned in the kind of communication that has happened between the officers in the Delhi government. Also, it has been said in the letter that it was not a designated CM residence and is a general pool category house. That is the reason why the particular allotment was withdrawn, and an alternate choice has been given to CM Atishi. She has been saying that she has been denied a residence just one day back, that is on 6th of January. But this time around we have got the same letter, and the letter is categorically talking about the reasons why this allotment got cancelled. Also, we had a word with Manoj Tiwari just a few minutes back, Poonam, and Manoj Tiwari is also saying, in fact, Bharatiya Janata Party is maintaining that there is a process of almost everything when you are in the government, and this time around that process was not followed by the Aam Aadmi Party or CM Atishi.
Right. Now, Anshul, as far as the Aam Aadmi Party versus BJP fireworks are concerned, over Sheesh Mahal, the BJP has been talking about the kind of luxurious fittings or premium fittings that have been inside, that have been used inside the Chief Minister's residence. The CAG report also came out and gave out those details. Now, on its part, the Aam Aadmi Party has been pointing to the splurge that the Prime Minister has done for his trips or for his wardrobe or for the Prime Minister's residence. But they haven't once come out and denied the use of any of these luxurious items that were found inside the residence of the Chief Minister.
Well, comparing the allotted Chief Minister's residence to the Prime Minister's residence is like comparing apple to oranges, because remember, there is no designated bungalow that is given to any Chief Minister out here in the national capital. There are a bunch of bungalows that are allotted, amongst from which a bungalow is allotted to the Chief Minister. Now, as Akash clearly mentioned, what is mentioned in that letter that has been given to Atishi, but this time around, what is very, very interesting, that this entire issue of Sheesh Mahal and how luxuriously it has been made, this is an issue that was sticking to the people on the ground over here. And to tackle that issue now, the Aam Aadmi Party has decided to rake up this entire issue in a larger manner. What they are planning to do tomorrow, basically the Aam Aadmi Party has invited the entire national media to join them, as they will go inside Six Flags Staff Road and will show them as to what are the amenities that are present over there. And then in the same breath, the Aam Aadmi Party has asked the media to come along with them to the Prime Minister's residence, where they will show what kind of amenities does the Prime Minister use. Today, Sanjay Singh, the Aam Aadmi Party MP, went ahead and very, very categorically raised questions on the Prime Minister as to how does he own 6,600 pair of shoes, mattress of 300 odd crores, and a 10 lakh rupees pen, and a number of suits that he owns. All these questions were raised from the side of the Aam Aadmi Party, saying that if at all there needs to be a fairness, then the people of the country need to see what the Prime Minister owns for himself as well. So somewhere or the other, the Aam Aadmi Party now knows that this issue was sticking with the people. The entire issue of Sheesh Mahal was sticking with the people of the national capital, and to somewhere or the other divert or somewhere or the other to neutralize that entire issue that was being spoken about in the nooks and corners of the national capital, they have now decided to step up the charge and not only defend the claims that are being made from the side of the BJP, but actually go ahead and attack the central government and attack the Bharatiya Janata Party for the manner in which their leaders are living. So tomorrow is going to be very, very interesting. At 11:30 a.m., the Aam Aadmi Party will take the national media to 6 lakh Staff Road. It remains to be seen if at all they will be allowed inside the residence, because now the residence does not belong to any Aam Aadmi Party
is nowhere close to dying down. This is an election issue as well, but is it something that could actually hurt the Aam Aadmi Party and its prospects in the upcoming elections? Is this something that will be on the voters' mind when they cast the ballot on the 5th of February? Well, time will tell. I thank you both for joining us and getting us those inputs and perspective. The political fight, meanwhile, continues. Let's listen into some of those reactions.
हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी के घर में 300 करोड़ रुपए के कालीन बिछे हुए हैं। दिखाओ मीडिया को, दिखाओ दिल्ली की जनता को और देश की जनता को। हम देखना चाहते हैं तुम्हारा राजमहल, हम देखना चाहते हैं वो 6700 जोड़ी जूते जो तुमने रखे हैं रोज बदलने के लिए। हम देखना चाहते हैं 10-10 लाख की वो पेन तुम्हारी। हम देखना चाहते हैं 5000 सूट तुम्हारे जो दिन दिन भर में तुम 3-3 बार 4-4 बार कपड़े बदलते हो। 11 बजे हम लोग मीडिया के मित्रों के साथ चलेंगे और वहां सोने की टॉयलेट खोजेंगे, वहां स्विमिंग पूल खोजेंगे, वहां पे मिनी बार खोजेंगे और उसके ठीक बाद हम लोग चलेंगे राजा का राजमहल देखने के लिए।
सर, बीजेपी शीश महल को एक मुद्दा बनाना चाह रही है। उन्होंने नए पोस्टर्स लगाए हैं, तो इस इशू को कैसे टैकल करेगी आम आदमी पार्टी?
बीजेपी सिर्फ गाली गलौज कर सकती है, इसके अलावा कुछ नहीं कर सकती, इसलिए उनका आज से नया नाम है गाली गलौज पार्टी।
आपको लगता है ये इशू, करप्शन का जो इशू है, ये लोगों में चिपकेगा और बीजेपी को कहीं फायदा हो सकता है?
पब्लिक में जाओ, लोग कहेंगे केजरीवाल काम करता है, बीजेपी गाली गलौज करती है।
On that note, it's time for a quick break here on this edition of Nation at 5. But news and updates continue here, so don't go anywhere.
ये है स्कैमर। Canada's Justin Trudeau said he would step down as Prime Minister in the coming months after nearly a decade in power, bowing to pressure as polls showed his party would be crushed in the next election. But what happens now? Trudeau said he would stay on both as Prime Minister and Liberal leader until the party picks a new one to take it into the next election. In Canada, unlike the process in other countries, party leaders are chosen by special leadership conventions that can take months to organize. The next federal election in Canada must take place before the end of October. Trudeau also announced on Monday he prorogued or suspended Parliament until March 24th. This means opposition parties who had planned to bring down his minority government as soon as they could will now have to wait until sometime in May. If all the opposition parties vote together on a non-confidence motion, the Liberals will be defeated and a new election called. If the Liberals are still in power by Parliament's scheduled summer break on June 20th, an election would be held as scheduled. The Liberals could also be brought down over the annual budget, most likely to come in April. When Trudeau took over the leadership in 2013, the contest lasted 5 months. A nightmare scenario for the Liberals is that the party takes so long to choose a new leader that Trudeau will still be in charge when the next election is called. That means it's likely the party will announce a shortened contest designed to get the next leader in office as soon as possible. Former Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland and Mark Carney, former Governor of the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England, could run to replace Trudeau alongside a number of current cabinet ministers. Polls strongly indicate that the Liberals will lose the election, no matter who the leader is. Canada's Justin Trudeau said he would step down as Prime Minister in the coming months after nearly a decade in power, bowing to pressure as polls showed his party would be crushed in the next election. But what happens now? Trudeau said he would stay on both as Prime Minister and Liberal leader until the party picks a new one to take it into the next election. In Canada, unlike the process in other countries, party leaders are chosen by special leadership conventions that can take months to organize. The next federal election in Canada must take place before the end of October. Trudeau also announced on Monday he prorogued or suspended Parliament until March 24th. This means opposition parties who had planned to bring down his minority government as soon as they could will now have to wait until sometime in May. If all the opposition parties vote together on a non-confidence motion, the Liberals will be defeated and a new election called. If the Liberals are still in power by Parliament's scheduled summer break on June 20th, an election would be held as scheduled. The Liberals could also be brought down over the annual budget, most likely to come in April. When Trudeau took over the leadership in 2013, the contest lasted 5 months. A nightmare scenario for the Liberals is that the party takes so long to choose a new leader that Trudeau will still be in charge when the next election is called. That means it's likely the party will announce a shortened contest designed to get the next leader in office as soon as possible. Former Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland and Mark Carney, former governor of the Bank of
Welcome back. You're watching Nation at 5 with me, Pranab. We have some breaking news that's now coming in. The Vice President of the country has now taken a stand against VVIP culture in temples. Jagdeep Dhankhar has now come out and said on social media in a post that VVIP culture in temples is an aberration, it's an incursion when viewed on the anvil of equality. The very idea of VVIP darshan in temples is against divinity. It should have no place in society, much less in religious places.
Soothing change in recent years in our country has been infrastructural growth that is germane to our religious places. This needs to be applauded as these are centers also of our civilizational values. Religious institutions are emblematic of equality since there is no individual is higher before the Almighty, the God. We should reinstill the idea of equality in religious institutions. When precedence is accorded, when priority is given to someone, when we label it as VVIP or VIP, this is belittling the concept of equality. VIP culture, friends, is an aberration. It is an incursion when viewed on the anvil of equality. It should have no place in society, much less in religious places. I hope this Dhamstal, being led by a luminary of our times, will serve as an example of egalitarianism.
Pallavi, my colleague, joining us, getting us more perspective on this. Pallavi, what was the context in which Jagdeep Dhankhar made this comment? What was the occasion where he was speaking when he was talking about this VVIP culture and putting an end to it, especially in sacred places of worship?
Yeah, that's right. He was in fact inaugurating a structure at the Dharmasala in where he talked about the fact that from the eyes of religion, everyone should be treated equally, and therefore we are completely against special VVIP darshans, which has now seemed to have become a norm as far as religious shrines or institutions goes. Little point forward, it's not just about the Vice President. In fact, if you remember, the Prime Minister also keeps on stressing on the fact that this VVIP culture needs to end. Everyone should be treated equally, and every shrine should actually be accessible to the common man, and they should be able to go to them without having to be worried about the fact that there would be people who will be getting special treatment. So everyone should be seen as equal in the eyes of the Lord. That is the larger point which the Vice President wanted to make.
Right, Pallavi, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that front. With that, it's time for a quick break on this edition of Nation at 5, but news and updates will continue here on CNN News 18. Do stay tuned.
Canada's Justin Trudeau said he would step down as Prime Minister in the coming months after nearly a decade in power, bowing to pressure as polls showed his party would be crushed in the next election. But what happens now? Trudeau said he would stay on both as Prime Minister and Liberal leader until the party picks a new one to take it into the next election. In Canada, unlike the process in other countries, party leaders are chosen by special leadership conventions that can take months to organize. The next federal election in Canada must take place before the end of October. Trudeau also announced on Monday he prorogued or suspended Parliament until March 24th. This means opposition parties who had planned to bring down his minority government as soon as they could will now have to wait until sometime in May. If all the opposition parties vote together on a non-confidence motion, the Liberals will be defeated and a new election called. If the Liberals are still in power by Parliament's scheduled summer break on June 20th, an election would be held as scheduled. The Liberals could also be brought down over the annual budget, most likely to come in April. When Trudeau took over the leadership in 2013, the contest lasted 5 months. A nightmare scenario for the Liberals is that the party takes so long to choose a new leader that Trudeau will still be in charge when the next election is called. That means it's likely the party will announce a shortened contest designed to get the next leader in office as soon as possible. Former Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland and Mark Carney, former Governor of the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England, could run to replace Trudeau alongside a number of current cabinet ministers. Polls strongly indicate that the Liberals will lose the election, no matter who the leader is. Canada's Justin Trudeau said he would step down as Prime Minister in the coming months after nearly a decade in power, bowing to pressure as polls showed his party would be crushed in the next election. But what happens now? Trudeau said he would stay on both as Prime Minister and Liberal leader until the party picks a new one to take it into the next election. In Canada, unlike the process in other countries, party leaders are chosen by special leadership conventions that can take months to organize. The next federal election in Canada must take place before the end of October. Trudeau also announced on Monday he prorogued or suspended Parliament until March 24th. This means opposition parties who had planned to bring down his minority government as soon as they could will now have to wait until sometime in May. If all the opposition parties vote together on a non-confidence motion, the Liberals will be defeated and a new election called. If the Liberals are still in power by Parliament's scheduled summer break on June 20th, an election would be held as scheduled. The Liberals could also be brought down over the annual budget, most likely to come in April. When Trudeau took over the leadership in 2013, the contest lasted 5 months. A nightmare scenario for the Liberals is that the party takes so long to choose a new leader that Trudeau will still be in charge when the next election is called. That means it's likely the party will announce a shortened contest designed to get the next leader in office as soon as possible.
Welcome back. You're watching Nation at 5. There's breaking news that's now coming in. This is to do with Jammu and Kashmir, and there seems to be a revival as far as separatism is concerned, or at least that's what the J&K Lieutenant Governor believes. While speaking at an event in Udhampur, Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha has come out and said that looks like separatists have activated themselves in Jammu and Kashmir. He says they spread both hatred and pick up guns against humanity, also calling for united efforts to defeat them.
अलगाववाद के कुछ संरक्षक फिर से सक्रिय हो गए। इस बात को याद रखिएगा कि गोली चलाने वाला तथा उसे बंदूक थमाने वाला दोनों ही आतंकवादी हैं और दोनों की सजा वही है जो मानवता के दुश्मनों की होती है। अलगाववादियों का समूल नाश ये हमारी प्रतिबद्धता होनी चाहिए। इस संकल्प को साकार करने के लिए सभी बलों तथा सेना के साथ बेहतर तालमेल के साथ हमें काम करने की आवश्यकता है। मैं पुनः एक बार आज दीक्षांत समारोह में शामिल सभी प्रोफेशनल डीएसपीज को हृदय से बधाई देता हूं। पिछले
Tejinder, my colleague, now joining us, getting us more perspective. Tejinder, the efforts of the police, of the Jammu and Kashmir police, of the army, of the BSF have all been to ensure that the pressure is kept on infiltration, the pressure is kept on terror activities, terror funding. Now we have the Lieutenant Governor coming out and saying that there seems to be a bid to revive separatism in the valley in Jammu and Kashmir as a whole. Is there a reason he's saying that? Is there any intel that you could share with us of why he believes so?
See, the statement by the Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir, Manoj Sinha, is significant because he says that efforts for the last couple of days are being made to revive separatism. Because if you remember, since the Article 370 was abrogated on 5th of August 2019, separatism was on its deathbed. But now efforts are being made to revive separatism. Though he is having those inputs which he hasn't shared with while he was speaking. But yes, the statements which are being made from the Kashmir Valley by various Kashmir-based politicians in the last couple of days, it clearly indicates that the separatism is being revived by some of them in the Kashmir Valley, because if you remember, for 30 long years, Kashmir suffered because of Pakistan-sponsored terrorism, Pakistan-sponsored separatism in Kashmir Valley, and those shops have been shut since 2019 when Article 370 was abrogated. If you remember, since Manoj Sinha took over as the Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir, he ensured that all those white-collar people who were supporting separatism, who were supporting terrorism while maintaining their government jobs, those people were identified and they were sacked from their services. But recently, when two officials were sacked by the government, by the Jammu and Kashmir administration, there were demands from various elected representatives and political leaders in Kashmir Valley that this should stop. These people should not be sacked because they were involved. They were involved in those anti-national activities which the security agencies had given the inputs to the Jammu and Kashmir administration. But having said so, the separatism in Kashmir Valley is on a rise, which is stated by none other than but the Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir, Manoj Sinha. Yes.
Right, Tejinder, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that front. I believe the security agencies, the government of the day, both at the centre and the state, will ensure that there is a lid that's kept on any such bid to revive separatism in Jammu and Kashmir. On that note, time for a quick break here, but we'll be back in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Canada's Justin Trudeau said he would step down as Prime Minister in the coming months after nearly a decade in power, bowing to pressure as polls showed his party would be crushed in the next election. But what happens now? Trudeau said he would stay on both as Prime Minister and Liberal leader until the party picks a new one to take it into the next election. In Canada, unlike the process in other countries, party leaders are chosen by special leadership conventions that can take months to organize. The next federal election in Canada must take place before the end of October. Trudeau also announced on Monday he prorogued or suspended Parliament until March 24th. This means opposition parties who had planned to bring down his minority government as soon as they could will now have to wait until sometime in May. If all the opposition parties vote together on a non-confidence motion, the Liberals will be defeated and a new election called. If the Liberals are still in power by Parliament's scheduled summer break on June 20th, an election would be held as scheduled. The Liberals could also be brought down over the annual budget, most likely to come in April. When Trudeau took over the leadership in 2013, the contest lasted 5 months. A nightmare scenario for the Liberals is that the party takes so long to choose a new leader that Trudeau will still be in charge when the next election is called. That means it's likely the party will announce a shortened contest designed to get the next leader in office as soon as possible. Former Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland and Mark Carney, former Governor of the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England, could run to replace Trudeau alongside a number of current cabinet ministers. Polls strongly indicate that the Liberals will lose the election, no matter who the leader is. Canada's Justin Trudeau said he would step down as Prime Minister in the coming months after nearly a decade in power, bowing to pressure as polls showed his party would be crushed in the next election. But what happens now? Trudeau said he would stay on both as Prime Minister and Liberal leader until the party picks a new one to take it into the next election. In Canada, unlike the process in other countries, party leaders are chosen by special leadership conventions that can take months to organize. The next federal election in Canada must take place before the end of October. Trudeau also announced on Monday he prorogued or suspended Parliament until March 24th. This means opposition parties who had planned to bring down his minority government as soon as they could will now have to wait until sometime in May. If all the opposition parties vote together on a non-confidence motion, the Liberals will be defeated and a new election called. If the Liberals are still in power by Parliament's scheduled summer break on June 20th, an election would be held as scheduled. The Liberals could also be brought down over the annual budget, most likely to come in April. When Trudeau took over the leadership in 2013, the contest lasted 5 months. A nightmare scenario for the Liberals is that the party takes so long to choose a new leader that Trudeau will still be in charge when the next election is called. That means it's likely the party will announce a shortened contest designed to get the next leader in office as soon as possible.
Welcome back. You're watching Nation at 5. We have some breaking news that's now coming in. Sheeshmahal Mukherjee has met with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. She's taken to social media to put out a post where she says that I called on the Honorable Prime Minister to express my thanks and gratitude for a memorial that is going to be created for Baba. She's talking about the former president of the country, Pranab Mukherjee. Sheeshmahal Mukherjee then goes on to say that it's more cherished considering that we didn't ask for it. Immensely touched by the unexpected but truly gracious gesture by the Prime Minister. Remember, this comes at a time when there was controversy over memorial for former Prime Minister of the country, Manmohan Singh, after his demise last week. Now, Sheeshmahal Mukherjee coming out and saying that despite the family not asking for it, the central government has decided that a memorial would be laid for the former President, Pranab Mukherjee, as well. Pallavi joining us, getting us more details. Yes, Pallavi.
Yes, in fact, she's Sheeshmahal Mukherjee, who is, as we know, the daughter of Pranab Mukherjee, and she has been very candid in her criticism. In this case, she has tweeted and she's put it out that she had a meeting with the Prime Minister, and in that Prime Minister, he has she says that the Prime Minister offered and that the government has given a decision to give a memorial in the name of Pranab Mukherjee, and to quote her, it's most cherished, considering we didn't even ask for it, and immensely touched by this unexpected but truly gracious gesture by the Prime Minister. Now, this is huge. This is important because of two reasons. One, remember Sheeshmahal Mukherjee's interview to us also, she made the last that there was no respect which was shown by the Congress party to her father. In fact, no one from the Congress party turned up for the Bharat Ratna ceremony, and the Congress is not inclusive, whereas the BJP is inclusive. That's one reason which is going to be used by the BJP also to show to the Congress party that you disrespected someone who was your own, whereas we learn to value people who are snubbed by the Congress. That's one. The second, we also understand the controversy, Poonam, which is going on regarding a memorial for Dr. Manmohan Singh. In that context, also the accusation which comes in repeatedly from the Congress is that the BJP and the Prime Minister have disrespected Dr. Manmohan Singh. Now the BJP will counter to say that those who you don't value, we understand their value, because you only value those people who are a part of the Nehru-Gandhi dynasty.
And this is a charge that has come in the past as well. Sheeshmahal Mukherjee has been vocal, at least in the recent past, about how Pranab Mukherjee was treated by the Congress party, how Manmohan Singh was treated by the Congress party. This comes at a time when the Congress had taken objection to where the last rites of Manmohan Singh had taken place, how there was no memorial that was being granted to him. This despite the central government coming out and making a clarification on that.
Absolutely. And in fact, there have been multiple clarifications coming in from the government, and completely squashing all the accusations which are coming in from the Congress party. That one, it was hurriedly done last rites. There was disrespect shown also to the family and to the Congress leaders. The counter which comes in from the BJP is on multiple grounds. First of all, where were the Gandhi family members when the final Shraddhanjali was given a week later at the Gurdwara or even at his residence? Why didn't any one of them turn up barring Sonia Gandhi? That's one. And second is, they themselves never valued Dr. Manmohan Singh. The way Rahul Gandhi said that he's going to tear up the ordinance, that was a complete disrespect of a Prime Minister. The fact that he was remote controlled, according to the accusations coming in from the BJP, are all examples being cited by the BJP to make the larger point that if you don't belong to Nehru Gandhi family, you're not even respected. Again, finally, Poonam, the point is that the mortal remains of P.V. Narasimha Rao, the former PM, was not even allowed to enter the AICC headquarters.
Now, Pallavi, you spoke to Sheeshmahal Mukherjee not too long ago after the demise of former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. There were several things that she spoke of in that interview as well. Is this something that she did highlight, the need for a memorial or the desire for a memorial for her father, like the Congress was asking for Manmohan Singh as well?
I mean, if you go by what she's put out, I mean, she's saying this is something I never expected. Frankly speaking, they never asked for a memorial. Her grudge was certainly about the fact that one, her father was not even considered to become the Prime Minister, and why there was a complete distrust between him and the Gandhis had for him. But more importantly, that's what she told me, that when he was given the Bharat Ratna, barring, say, a Bhupinder Hooda or an Anand Sharma or an Ahmed Patel, no one from the Gandhi family even bothered to turn up. In fact, they could have recommended a Bharat Ratna for him, but they never ever did that. So the distancing, and not just this, she also told me that, they never held a CWC meeting or a condolence meeting for him. when he expired. And she was told that they don't do it for the Prime Minister, ex-president, where she said that she found out that the former president, K.R. Narayanan, was given a condolence message and meeting and a tribute by the Congress party. So why was there a different stroke?
So she was very clear about what some would call betrayal from the Congress party as far as Pranab Mukherjee went. Speaking of that Bharat Ratna, as far as Manmohan Singh goes, she also did say that Pranab Mukherjee, when he was president, actually did want to give the Bharat Ratna to Dr. Manmohan Singh, but that's something that the Congress wasn't too keen on.
Well, I mean, yes. I mean, what she did, of course, mention the fact was that the Bharat Ratna is something which was being considered. There was a suggestion, but the Congress party did not move on it. The Congress would have to move on it as far as giving out the Bharat Ratna, and there was no movement. In fact, in her interview to me, she also said that when someone asked her this question about why not giving a Bharat Ratna to Pranab Mukherjee, she was absolutely silent. And that silence actually depicts a lot. It speaks a lot. And point that she made that unlike the Congress party, the BJP is inclusive, whereas the Congress pushes away its own.
Pallavi, do stay on with us. Abhijit Mukherjee joining us. Thank you so much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. Your sister has put out that post about the government promising a memorial for Pranab Mukherjee. Your first reaction?
Hello.
Mr. Mukherjee?
Yes, please.
Yes, the government is now planning to build a memorial in the memory of Pranab Mukherjee. That's a confirmation that has come from your sister, Sharmishta. Your first reaction to this memorial, to this ode to Pranab Mukherjee?
Definitely, I welcome this move, and I'm thankful to the government. But I have not yet received any confirmation from any side. The first thing I think you informed me, it's a good initiative. But now my question is, where is it? Where they'll make this foundation or this kind of thing, memorial, where? Which place? Any idea?
No, the details are not out yet, sir. In fact, the only details we have
but anyway,
are...
it's a good news and good news. Very good news.
Abhijit Mukherjee, thank you so much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. The family, of course, welcoming this memorial that the centre has promised, something that Sharmishta Mukherjee herself has come out and confirmed on social media. How this develops from here, we'll keep an eye out on that. But it's a wrap from my side here on this edition of Nation at 5.
Brought to you by Canada's Justin Trudeau said he would step down as Prime Minister in the coming months after nearly a decade in power, bowing to pressure as polls showed his party would be crushed in the next election. But what happens now? Trudeau said he would stay on both as Prime Minister and Liberal leader until the party picks a new one to take it into the next election. In Canada, unlike the process in other countries, party leaders are chosen by special leadership conventions that can take months to organize. The next federal election in Canada must take place before the end of October. Trudeau also announced on Monday he prorogued or suspended Parliament until March 24th. This means opposition parties who had planned to bring down his minority government as soon as they could will now have to wait until sometime in May. If all the opposition parties vote together on a non-confidence motion, the Liberals will be defeated and a new election called. If the Liberals are still in power by Parliament's scheduled summer break on June 20th, an election would be held as scheduled. The Liberals could also be brought down over the annual budget, most likely to come in April. When Trudeau took over the leadership in 2013, the contest lasted 5 months. A nightmare scenario for the Liberals is that the party takes so long to choose a new leader that Trudeau will still be in charge when the next election is called. That means it's likely the party will announce a shortened contest designed to get the next leader in office as soon as possible. Former Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland and Mark Carney, former Governor of the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England, could run to replace Trudeau alongside a number of current cabinet ministers. Polls strongly indicate that the Liberals will lose the election, no matter who the leader is. Canada's Justin Trudeau said he would step down as Prime Minister in the coming months after nearly a decade in power, bowing to pressure as polls showed his party would be crushed in the next election. But what happens now? Trudeau said he would stay on both as Prime Minister and Liberal leader until the party picks a new one to take it into the next election. In Canada, unlike the process in other countries, party leaders are chosen by special leadership conventions that can take months to organize. The next federal election in Canada must take place before the end of October. Trudeau also announced on Monday he prorogued or suspended Parliament until March 24th. This means opposition parties who had planned to bring down his minority government as soon as they could will now have to wait until sometime in May. If all the opposition parties vote together on a non-confidence motion, the Liberals will be defeated and a new election called. If the Liberals are still in power by Parliament's scheduled summer break on June 20th, an election would be held as scheduled. The Liberals could also be brought down over the annual budget, most likely to come in April. When Trudeau took over the leadership in 2013, the contest lasted 5 months. A nightmare scenario for the Liberals is that the party takes so long to choose a new leader that Trudeau will still be in charge when the next election is called. That means it's likely the party will announce a shortened contest designed to get the next leader in office as soon as possible.
Dominates presents CNN News 18 Primetime Studio.
A very good evening and thanks for tuning in. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Kritsween Balian. We're coming to you live from CNN News 18 Primetime Studio, presented by Green Lamb Laminates. Viewers, the dates for the Delhi Assembly elections are out. The three-cornered fight between the Aam Aadmi Party, the Congress and the BJP will be put to test on the 5th of February and the counting of votes will take place on the 8th. As the national capital braces for the Super Saturday, a 50-minute-long speech by the Chief Election Commissioner has put to rest a lot of back and forth between the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party. But that doesn't mean that even before the EC's announcement of poll dates, attempts were made to spread confusion and chaos in the minds of the voters in Delhi. Voter manipulation has been a big claim that has seen allegations fly thick and fast between the two parties. So on the sidelines of a big poster and campaign war and amid campaign songs being released in the run-up to the Delhi battle and unrelenting political campaign,